Shalom, shalom, happy Sabbath. I want to jump on here really quick, right? Because I seen something that ended up like it made me be like, you know what? This is kind of different with these do not disturb calls or these, whatever these calls is, fake phone calls or whatever. That's weird. But regardless, you know what I'm saying? I had seen a post, right? And this female was talking about how, you know what I'm saying, the Elohim that we serve, you know what I'm saying, the God that we serve, right, that they say, is full of ego. She was basically saying that, you mean to tell me that he already knew everything, and so he created all this type of stuff and evil just for us to be able to be damned and all this, when he could have ended up doing it himself, only for us to be in a tough spot, and then for us to give him praise and stuff like that don't seem egotistical. And so I've seen a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, going with the grain and everything like that. And this is how the devil works, right? You know what I'm saying? This is how Hashatan works. This is, you know what I'm saying, the acts of the wickedness of the kingdom, you know what I'm saying, of the kingdom of evil, you know what I'm saying, the kingdom of hell operates, is to emulate, you know what I'm saying, and then try to tear down, to decrease the chance of somebody being able to gain some form of hope, you know what I'm saying, into being able to get salvation and to save themselves and actually have a relationship with the Father, right? One thing about that was this, is that many people, well, I have a saying and I wrote it down, you know what I'm saying, this was actually given to me, so I like this, you know what I'm saying. It'll be people that try to emulate and bite it, as they always do, because it seems like anytime you say something, they'll end up trying to run with it and take it somewhere else. But you know, you heard it here first, right? And it says that those who never won a war will never know how to celebrate the victory. Right. That's how he coming, you know what I'm saying? It says he says, those who never won a war will never know how to celebrate the victory. And so when a person has not truly walked, you know what I'm saying, with the Father, has not really operated in allowing him to set motion and actions into their life, you know what I'm talking about, then they'll end up basically seeing that everything else, because they cannot understand or understand from that level, you know what I'm saying, they'll see it as basically, or perceive it as, you know what I'm saying, a fallacy, because they haven't experienced it. It's just like you telling somebody that if you go to Hawaii, the water, you know what I'm saying, there's water that's blue, you know what I'm saying, or there's water that's green, you know what I'm saying, and so they come from a place where the water is brown. So their perception is that the water is just going to be brown. You see? And until they're able to experience it. Once they experience it, then they're like, oh, you know what? The water is blue. The water is green over here. You know what I'm saying? You see how that works? And so it's the same way whenever you are walking in faith, you know what I'm saying, and you are operating Salakia. When you're operating, you know what I'm talking about, in the experience, you know what I'm saying, and actually working the faith, you know what I'm saying, working the experience, being able to realize and see it become from supernatural to natural via its tangibility. Okay? And so when people do not try to actually for real walk it, and they look for escapes, you know what I'm saying, which we call escapism, when they look for escapes to be able to be like, okay, well, now let me just shoot this down, you know what I'm saying, we know that the enemy has affected their mind, and these are people that operate under, you know what I'm saying, suggestive imagination. And as people operate under suggestive imagination, you know what I'm saying, it is so easy for the enemy to be able to utilize these people, because now these people are able to be utilized for the kingdom of wickedness. People will listen to these people and believe what these people are saying, or just because they themselves have not, you know what I'm saying, ever really truly won a war, then they'll be like, okay, well, just because I've never won a war and you never won a war, then there is no war to win. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, they would never celebrate the victory. This is how it is whenever you deal with certain things in life and you end up, you know what I'm saying, basically overcoming things in life. And as you overcome these things, you know what I'm talking about, then you tell people your experiences and how it was for you. And people will be on the outside looking in and being like, oh, you dealt with that or whatever? Well, I would have just did this, and why wouldn't you just do this and all this type of stuff, when they have not been in your shoes. And until they've been in your shoes, you know what I'm saying, once they get into those shoes that you wear, then they'll be like, you know what, dang, you know what I'm saying, and then they'll end up falling in line and doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's no difference from them or whatever. No, we're not doing that. Go ahead. Yeah, we're not doing that. We're trying to be slick. So, aside from that, right, let's touch back on the ego thing. So first and foremost, if we know that, you know what I'm saying, the Father is love, Yahweh is love, right? If we know that the Father is love, then this means that the Father, you know what I'm saying, requires us to be able to operate in love, right? So it's not about an ego thing. It's about us being able to love one another, to respect and adore one another. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that truly get you in there. The working of the faith is not just you. It's not just you praying and, you know what I'm saying, of course you have an intimacy, most definitely. But there are laws and statutes you must follow. You know what I'm saying? Like loving your neighbor, you know what I'm saying? Not coveting, you know what I'm saying? Not having other guys before them and all this type of stuff. That's the same thing. These will be the same people that will mess around and be in relationships. And as they're in relationships, their spouse will start to do certain things that they don't like or whatever, and they feel some type of way. It's the same thing when you have a relationship with the Father. So it's not an ego thing. But that's how people choose to try to look at it as, right? So another thing, right, is that the ones who never won the war will never know how to celebrate the victory, right? They only know how to survive. So when you deal with a lot of people who are always in survival mode, and that's all they know, you know what I'm saying, then this means that there is anything goes mentality. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is for them to survive. You know what I'm talking about? Whether it's stepping on the next person, or whether it's stealing from the next person, emulating or taking, you know what I'm saying? This is the zone via that traumatic experience that the enemy has sown into them since a little child, you know what I'm talking about, for him to be able to weed his way through that and then be able to induce suggestive imagination within the thoughts, right? So because they haven't tried to work anything out for real to attain a victory, because they're so used to survival, they don't see anything outside of that. It's the same thing as a person who's never traveled the world will only know about as far as their you know what I'm saying, suburb or hood go. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to say hood first because I didn't want to be stereotypical, but you know what I'm saying, most of us have lived there. You know what I'm saying, in the hood or the projects or whatever. But regardless, it only goes as far as their block goes or as far as their community goes. Let's say it like that, right? And so because they have not went any further than their community, then they do not understand or even know how to embody the thought of something being abroad, way outside of the things that they're used to in this normalcy. You know what I'm talking about? Or normality, my bad. Over here making up words. But so because they did not understand that, then this also is the reason why they cannot celebrate a victory, because they have never really been, you know what I'm saying, in a for real war. They have never really won a war, right? They've only just been able to be on the battlefield, and while everybody else is battling, but they're like, well, I'm surviving, so I'm going to take this, and it's going to work for me, whatever works for me, right? Until it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? So really quick, let me skip to this part, since we're talking about that Yahweh is love. So Yahweh is love, right? Love is accountable, love has boundaries, and love has consequences. When you are in a relationship with a person, you know what I'm saying, Because some people, I've seen this as well, some people be like, well, unconditional love doesn't mean I can't do unconditional love because it means that I'm going to allow people to walk all over me or whatever, and this is contrary to your belief, beloved. You know what I'm saying? Unconditional love does not mean that you allow people to walk all over you. It just means to be able to love people unconditionally within their mistakes. That's it. It don't mean that let a person slap you upside your head or, you know what I'm saying, wreck up your stuff, you know what I'm talking about, or your mentality or your spirit, or drain you, you know what I'm talking about, continually without even being any type of form of reciprocity. This is not what that is. Unconditional love is something that ends up being reciprocated, but it also has boundaries. This is another reason why there are laws and statutes that are given, you know what I'm saying, for if somebody transgresses the law, right? So if they end up, you know what I'm saying, blaspheming the Holy Spirit, or somebody gets out of line with you, you know, so I'm using these two different things kind of on the same spectrum, though, right? So just stick with me. So if somebody blasphemes the Holy Spirit, and, you know what I'm saying, on the flip side of that, somebody is disrespecting you or whatever, you know what I'm talking about, then there's extreme consequences for that. It's just like whenever you love a person, whenever you love a person, or whenever you have love within yourself, it has boundaries, because you have love for yourself. You love yourself enough to know that you're not going to allow this to be tarnished or tainted, you know what I'm saying, and ran over by just any and everybody, right? So whenever you have boundaries, your boundaries now forms respect, because whenever people know how far that they can go with you, you know what I'm saying, then this develops some type of form of respect, because it's like, okay, well, I know that I can't go there with them, or I can't say this or do that, you know what I'm talking about, because after that respect, whenever you end up crossing out that respect or overstepping that respect, you know what I'm saying, of that boundary, then there's consequences. A person can either leave, you know what I'm saying, or choose to do something different. There's going to be a consequence, whether it be physical or spiritual consequence, right? So we have to understand this. So this is the same thing with Yahweh. So whenever we are operating in love, people think that love just means that, okay, because they'll take that scripture and be like, okay, and they hear me say it a lot when I say, you know what I'm saying, love thy enemy. And I only speak that because I've been in an experience where I've had actual people that I did not know that was really trying to kill me until I realized it, and they were in my vicinity, in my apartment and stuff, you know what I'm saying, is whenever I ended up, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, you hungry, you want something, you know what I'm saying, and still being humble. It didn't hurt, because it's like, dang, like, you really trying to snake me, you know what I'm saying? But whenever you do that type of stuff, and you have the bravery and the courage to do that type of stuff, then you heap coals on a person's head, seriously. Because them people, it was two of them, you know what I'm saying, they ended up changing their mind, and was like, well, dang, it got to the point whenever, you know what I'm saying, I was finally like, I got them out. I was like, hey, well, look, bro, you know what I'm saying? Because I was looking out for them. They didn't have no place to stay, you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know that they were sent there by somebody who I knew and loved that was trying to do a task, you know what I'm saying, the green light, right? And so when it got to the point where I was able to kind of smooth things over and be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Well, hey, look, I got some stuff I'm finna do. You might as well go ahead and move around. And they, like, I left them no excuse. And they was leaving. And one of them was like, well, dang, bro, you know what I'm saying, can I help you? You mind if I help you clean up? And I'm looking like, you know what I'm saying? But some told me, just tell him yeah. So I told him yeah, you know what I'm saying? And as he was helping me clean up, he was like, man, I really do appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he apologized a little bit in his own type of way. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I'm thinking that in my head, he don't know what I know. You know what I'm saying? But so he's apologizing, and I'm like, well, dang, he apologizing for this. So this is how I knew that the word really does work. You know what I'm saying? Whenever we operate in those type of things, because anybody else, and especially me at a certain point in time of the old me, before that time, would have done something where I would end up, you know what I'm saying, because I'm playing for keeps. So I would end up probably catching a charge of being behind bars or whatever right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about jail. I'm talking about penitentiary time. You know what I'm talking about? So, with me operating in what the Most High was giving me, you know what I'm saying, to teach me in that situation about love, this is a victory, a war that I won and had achieved the victory. So this is why whenever I celebrate the victory, many people don't know how I celebrate. They don't see that, because they're like, what are you celebrating? How do you? Because they've never won a war for them to celebrate the victory. And this is not just about me. This is about each and every one of y'all out there. You know what I'm saying? There's been many wars that you have won and you have celebrated the victory. And sometimes people have been like, okay, well, I don't see it, so therefore they don't really understand your story. They don't understand your testimony. They don't know what it really is. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing about this, right, is, let me see here. I wrote it down here. Did I write it on this page? I wrote it on this page. Yeah. Okay. So one thing about that is this, right? Is that the ministry is in the walk. So in the victory that we celebrate is part of our ministry. You know what I'm saying? Our testimony. So the ministry is in the walk, not in just because somebody can quote words and scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. That's nice and stuff like that. But it's about the ministry of your walk, how you walk in life. That basically becomes relatable to somebody else, for them to see you clearly and transparently, for them to be able to obtain some of the keys that you have, you know what I'm saying, acquired in your life, in your darkest hours, for them to be able to use those same keys of that light in their darkest hours, you know what I'm talking about, for them to overcome said things, right? So it's about the walk. One of the things about the walk, you know what I'm saying, let's see here. Yeah, I wrote something else, but I'm going off the head with this one. Some of the things about the walk is that, just like I said, we are to be able to, you know what I'm saying, mirror and exert and, you know what I'm saying, showcase the love and the laws that we operate under for the Father. This is why it says present your flesh as a living sacrifice, right? And so whenever you present yourself as a living sacrifice, you know what I'm saying, then this means that the things that you have overcame, you've overcome brokenness of heart, or, you know what I'm saying, abusive relationships, or homeless, or a drug addict, or a drunk, you know what I'm saying, or if you were stripping or whatever, you know what I'm saying, anything that you have done that you have overcame, you know what I'm talking about, is in your walk. So therefore, it is up on us to be able to minister and administer, you know what I'm saying, that type of spiritual medicine to those who are in those same pots, you know what I'm saying, in those same potholes. Salaki, right? So those who are in those same potholes, those who are in those same struggles, those who are in, you know what I'm saying, the same disasters and stuff like that, and those same storms that you had overcame, you know what I'm talking about, that's in that war, then you are able to give them the keys, or if you want to keep it at just it being a war, you know what I'm saying, you're able to give them the ammunition and the proper firearms for them to be able to defend themselves, you know what I'm saying, and to be able to gain higher ground or leverage ground, you know what I'm saying. So it's just that type of thing. So whenever some people tend to come out of situations and then they will look down on those who was in their situations and act like like these people don't exist. And this is whenever people end up doing this, is whenever they end up making it seem like that the faith is not real, because they're operating in, you know what I'm saying, wickedness and suggestive imaginations, you know what I'm saying, and self-righteousness and self-loathing and, you know what I'm saying, ego and pride and stuff like that, given by the enemy unto thee, you know what I'm saying, unto them, right? And so whenever they operate in that, then this makes it to where other people that are in certain situations end up denouncing the faith, feeling like, well, it's not real and the Most High is not real or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And that goes into what I wrote after this, as in the walk, is that many will emulate, steal, and never contribute their time. Never contribute. Their time will be cut short, right? They don't think it will, but their time will be cut short. Every dog has their day, you know what I'm saying, whether their time is cut short spiritually, whether their time is cut short physically, you know what I'm saying, whether their time is cut short, you know what I'm saying, financially or whatever, right? That still operates in physically, but you know what I'm saying. So their time will be cut short, but the main thing of that is that they tend to try to emulate, you know what I'm saying, and steal, because this is the thing that they're like, okay, well, they're self-serving and serving themselves. So then this is why they end up steering people away, you know what I'm saying, from the faith, and steering people away from being able to be intimate with the Most High, or even believing that the Most High really loves them. It's because they never loved themselves. They got out of a situation, seen it that it works and stuff like that, but then got too big for their britches and was like, oh, okay. It's just like you being a parent, you help your child out of a situation, you know what I'm talking about, a situation was very disastrous, and then the child gets to blaspheming you and acting like that you never did nothing for that child. That's unappreciative and ungrateful. It would be dang near, you know what I'm saying, hell and high water before the next time that you really choose to truly do something for that child, even though you love them. It's like, well, nah, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to let you sit this one out a little bit so you can learn your lesson. You see? And so this is how the Father is with those. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we are not to forget where we came from and those things that we overcame. So many people have been compromised, you know what I'm saying, and have jeopardized other people's lives and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, by not fully walking in the ministry. Because too many people want to seem like that they have a spirit of righteousness or the acts of righteousness or a spirit of the Holy Ghost or the Holy Spirit or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then they don't really want to do the works. There'll be many times where they'll see people that are struggling and won't ever think to be able to be like, you know what, hey, let me offer you something. It's too many times that I keep loose change and stuff like that in my vehicle. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of anything that I have went through or going through or whatever, you know what I'm saying, there's too many times where I've been like, you know what, hey, what do you need? Because acts of service is how we show that, you know what I'm saying, there is truly something that is above us that has love, that we are given the opportunity to awaken each day, you know what I'm saying, to be a blessing and to be a cause for somebody else to be able to find hope. The reason why the world is like it is right now is because everybody is hopeless. There's only a few of us that have hope, that have faith, that have love, that have authenticity. You know what I'm saying? That don't just put ourselves above everybody. But yet, we are the type of people that the world constantly, continuously wants to humble and put through test after test after test after test after test. But these people will not even be able to survive any test that we have walked. You know what I'm saying? It's been too much stuff. I have for real lived a life of Job, for real. People think that it's a game. And they thinking that, oh, it's so. I have really for real lived the lifestyle of Job, for real. You know what I'm saying? And in the midst of it, I still am able to give praise and give the glory to the Father and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? And so as I was able to do so, then whenever you do that, then people end up looking at it like, oh, well, it's easy. You make it look easy. You know what I'm saying? The thing that makes it look easy, right, is because I've learned that you never let your experiences or your situation dictate, you know what I'm talking about, who you are, what you're going through, and what you're going to, right? You never let it dictate how you feel about yourself. Because there is something that is able to be given, you know what I'm saying, which is being able to give praise, worship, to give glory and honor, you know what I'm saying, to the Father, to know that there is love for you to even be that in those situations, because it's all about a mindset. That's one of the things about having faith, is being able to change your mindset. A lot of people will talk about Kundalini and all this type of stuff, and chakras and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, that's fine and dandy, but if you're not able to change your mindset in your situation, and you know what I'm saying, then it's not conducive to what you have going on. You can still be in a situation where your rent need to be paid, but raising your Kundalini ain't gonna help you out that situation, you know what I'm saying? Messing around and doing chakra work, you know what I'm talking about, is not finna get your bills paid. You know what I'm talking about? Now, there are people that are messing around and be like, okay, well, those who are considered to be master manifestors, they'll talk about this type of stuff, right? One thing I find strange is that the contradictions of things, right? And so these will be people that'll be like that the scriptures are so contradictory, right? Now, these same people that will practice all kind of different religious practices, rituals, and stuff like that, whenever they are undergoing something that is severe, they do not ever go to, you know what I'm talking about, the false gods, the idol gods that they claim, you know what I'm saying, and ask these gods for guidance. They'll never do that. They go to the Father. That's kind of weird to me. So you mean to tell me that you do witchcraft and stuff like that, but then your cousin loses their life and then you want prayer? No, go ahead and tally them up on them little cards and all them little rituals and altars and stuff like that you put all your faith in, right? But you don't want to hear that though, right? But you want to always talk about the contradictions of the scriptures, right? Not studying and knowing what is what and being able to decipher and decide what is real, and you know what I'm saying, knowing that, okay, this is what this is, and also being able to have the Ruach HaKodesh, you know what I'm saying, the Holy Spirit, to be able to give you, you know what I'm saying, insight on scriptures and things like that, right? Look, I got another thing, let me say, because I got some more stuff written down, right? So, okay, real quick, this too, going into this situation, right? Still in the scenario, is that people have said that, why do a lot of people, they'll say Christians or whatever, you know what I'm saying, those who believe in the Most High, you know what I'm talking about, why do they say that they don't say, they deny the fact that we are gods, but then tell you to serve him and all this type of stuff, right? It's not that. One thing that I've always said and stood on is that whenever you consider yourself a god, then you do godly things, right? Now, whenever you are not changing because you're supposed to create. So if you're not creating a change in atmosphere, you know what I'm saying, for the positive manner, then you are chasing and following those things of the way the system has always been. You know what I'm saying? Negative, depressed, self-serving, and all this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Wicked, wrathful, vengeful, envious, jealousy. You know what I'm saying? Adultery, idolatry, and stuff like this, right? So therefore, you're not a god if you do that type of stuff. Ye are gods, basically is specifying the fact that you have, you know what I'm saying, a form of godliness within you, but you choose not to operate in that power. So whenever you operate in that power, you know what I'm saying, loving and actually being able to change the atmosphere and stuff like that, and radiating, you know what I'm saying, the light, not Lucifer, you know what I'm saying, the morning star, light bearer, whatever. I'm talking about the actual, for real, you know what I'm saying, light of Yahweh, Elohim, you know what I'm saying, Elohim Ori, you know what I'm saying, or Adonai Ori, you know what I'm saying, the Lord, the light, you know what I'm saying. So when you are operating in that, then things change. But you have to have been able to change yourself in order for those things to be able to take place. So then it goes into you actually being, you know what I'm saying, considered a God, because you have a form of godliness and you are acting in that on that thing, you know what I'm saying, via righteousness. You see how that works? That's what I'm saying. So they get it confused and be like, okay, well, we are guys, so this is why we end up, you know what I'm saying, say that we are guys and stuff like that, but they don't do the things that are of godliness. There'll be so many people that be like, because they just want knowledge, they don't want to change. They want to be able to seem like they're the big dog, you know what I'm saying, but don't want to do big dog stuff. You see, when it come down time, you know what I'm talking about, for them to really apply pressure and be who they supposed to be authentically, they don't want to do that. They want to be like, all right, well, I already know that, you know what I'm saying. These are people that will be searching and seeking for knowledge, you know what I'm saying, but never being able to come to the knowledge of the truth. There's many different truths is what they feel like. So therefore, well, this goes into this goes into this, so they're just on a spiral, you know what I'm saying, or really a loop, you know what I'm talking about, running around constantly. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, the 10 Commandments came from the 48 laws or 42 laws, 48 laws of Mayat or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But yet, I know about the 48 laws of Mayat. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of those people that do the Kemetic practices don't even operate in those laws. So therefore, they'll make an excuse for them not to even uphold 10 commandments, to be like, okay, well, it's the 42 laws and I don't operate off the 10 commandments, I operate off of this. But then you don't treat your brother and sister with respect, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many laws that go into that, you know what I'm saying? You don't honor the atmosphere, the realm, you know what I'm talking about? You say Ashe and all this type of stuff, but you are not doing magical stuff. So that's contradictory, right? So then, what is it? So then we have people that think, you know what I'm saying, well, I'll end up getting my life right, you know what I'm saying, whenever I get clean in spirit. Or whenever I get older, you know what I'm talking about, as soon as I get older and stuff like that, then I'll give my life to the Most High, you know what I'm saying? Or whenever I am clean in spirit, you know what I'm talking about, then I'll, you know what I'm saying, give my life to the Most High, right? So many people in these days and time are passing away, you know what I'm saying? They are dying in their youth. They're not even able to make it to an older age to be able to have that opportunity to give themselves. Many people are dying and passing away, you know what I'm talking about, in their sins. So therefore, they're not able to have a chance. You see how that works? So then the fact that they're not able to have a chance, you know what I'm saying, to be able to get right, this is another reason why the Most High is very adamant at these times, you know what I'm saying, in these hours, to be able to have people to be like, hey, look, repent, you know what I'm saying, the Most High love you, you know what I'm talking about, the Most High love you, no matter how many times they like to joke and mock and poke jokes and all this extra stuff, and you know what I'm saying, there's so many of us that's standing on his business. And that's like, no, you know what I'm saying, yeah, you can do all that type of stuff. I too was you at one point in time. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I used to see people talking about repent, I'm like, hi, you one of them people, you might as well go hold up a sign and with a microphone and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Until you have won a victory, and then till you have won a war and learned how to celebrate a victory, you know what I'm saying? Then it'll make sense to you why these people are holding up a sign and stuff like that, because they're trying to help save somebody. Right? Not all of them, because there's a lot of people that do it, you know what I'm saying, for financial status and all this type of stuff, but we're not talking about those. We're talking about the ones that are for real walking the walk, right? That's walking in their ministry. Every time I'm on Facebook, it never fails. It's crazy. And I don't even know who this number is, you know what I'm saying? Well, I know who the number is. It's not a person I know. It's like these ACS numbers or whatever, you know what I'm saying, callers want to, I don't like to call you about your, I'm like, man, just leave me alone. And then whenever you tell them, take me off the list, put me on do not disturb, then they still want to continuously call because they that mad. But this is how people are in the world, you know what I'm saying? If you were not able to to confine yourself, you know what I'm saying, into the limitations of what they have for you, then they will get mad and continuously pick at you. But the thing about it is, them picking at you is supposed to be a test to help you strengthen and hone patience, to be able to operate, you know what I'm talking about, in your true love, the desire to be able to please the Most High, you know what I'm saying, because in the test that the Most High is using these people to test you, he's wanting to see that if you are able to be trustworthy for me to take you into the next level, in order for me to help you, you know what I'm saying, or for me to use you to help others, you know what I'm talking about, that are like you, right? Too many people want to put the cart before the horse. There's too many people that mess around and be like, you know what, I want to mess around and I want to be accepted and be acknowledged as this big, powerful person, you know what I'm talking about, but yet they don't even have patience. So therefore, if a person was to even for real come to you to seek the truth and ask you for insight and experience and to be led properly, you know what I'm talking about, then you wouldn't be able to lead them, because you're not going off of being able to have patience and long suffering, you know what I'm saying, the willingness and compassion, you know what I'm talking about, the love, you know what I'm saying, and the humility, you know what I'm saying, to be able to help a person out. You operating too much in the, oh, I just heard, I want to put the cart before the horse. So now whenever people I can tell them to shut up and rebuke them and tell them to get the hell out the church and all this type of stuff, or get the hell out of my face and all this, you know what I'm saying? And that's not going to do nothing but steer people away. Then what you think the Most High going to look at you like? He'll be like, I sent that person for you to help them. But yet, every time I send somebody to you to help, you keep veering them off somewhere else. So you're not doing nothing but making my job that much more harder. Why do I even need you? You see that? That would mean that there was some type of form of boundary within that love, right? That would mean that that love, that once that respect has been overcrossed, then that means there's a consequence for that. You see? So this is the things people like to always be like contradictory, but it's people that are walking contradictions in themselves. You know what I'm saying? They're fake. These would be people that are mess around, have covens and high altars and all this type of stuff, do all kind of sorcery and stuff like that, but on their deathbed, they don't want to be alone, you know what I'm saying? They hope somebody pray for them or whatever, or even whenever they get buried into the ground, you know what I'm saying, for their death ceremony, you know what I'm talking about, their ceremony will be at a church. They'll have to undergo a ceremony, you know what I'm saying, via a church to get sent home, right? But they didn't believe in none of that. No, you believe in all them other guys. Why don't you have them other guys go ahead and send you off? Have Anubis go ahead and come visit you and send you off. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and have, you know what I'm saying, Baal and Behemoth and Mammon, you know what I'm saying, and all these other guys that you serve to go ahead and send you off. Why you even worried about a coffin in a church? Why are your family members worried about that? If they were so deeply into that, right? That's how it is. So people are walking contradictions. You know what I'm saying? This is contradiction of fakeness in this time and these hours where so many people get mad because they don't really understand that, you know what I'm saying, what it really takes to be able to operate in the fullness and entirety, you know what I'm saying, of the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? Being able to really win the war. This is why they judge a lot of y'all. This is why they judge me. They get mad and oh, well, you know what I'm saying, you shouldn't, whenever you say something that's like, oh, well, this is kind of wrong or whatever, who are you to judge and all this type of stuff? The world was set on judging in the first place. They don't have no problem whenever people is judging you how to sing. Whenever you watching shows about American Idol and all this type of stuff, judging you how to sing, or people judging you how to cook, or judging you, you know what I'm saying, the well best dressed, or the best top model, or, you know what I'm saying, family swaps and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, judging how you are and all these, oh, well, this is how you did and all this type of stuff, critiquing and all this, right? Baking and cooking judges. All this type of stuff, they don't have no problem. They go tune in for that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? We there. You know what I'm saying? Sports consists of judging. You have to judge who's the best contender, who's the winning team. You be the judge. The world is based off of judging. The thing that's crazy is that a lot of people that tell you that, you know what I'm saying, whenever you are telling them something right, well, who are you to judge and all that type of stuff, right? These are people that are mad because they want to lay dormant and comfortable in you know what I'm saying, the normality of their transgressions. So it's like, because they want to continue, you know what I'm saying, to be abusive, to be a gossiper, a slanderer, you know what I'm saying, a murderer, to be, you know what I'm saying, an adulterer, to keep cheating and using and manipulating and all type of forms of witchcraft and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. Whenever you tell them right from wrong, they get mad, you know what I'm saying. But whenever you are with them in the sauce, you know what I'm saying, and they messing around and y'all all judging other people on whatever, you know what I'm talking about, nobody bats an eye. It's a thing that I seen that there was like that, you know what I'm saying, how do I know which God is the real one? The one that you hate? The one that you hate. That's the real one. That's what he said. The one that you hate is the real one. Because the one that's letting you know what I'm saying, to do right, to sit up right or whatever, you know what I'm saying, to know that it is to be able to love one another, to operate, you know what I'm saying, in his likeness or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then that's the one that you hate. But the ones that tell you to go ahead and get your bag up and put your foot, you know what I'm saying, in these, you know what I'm saying, lower people's necks or whatever, you know what I'm saying, put your foot in these whoremongers' necks, or put your foot, you know what I'm saying, in these bums' necks and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying. Those guys that they serve, Y'all love those. Right? And I'm not talking to the Kadoshim, so you got to keep in mind whenever I'm speaking, I'm just speaking. You know what I'm saying? Some people tend to be like, oh, and you can't be offended, you know what I'm talking about, because the word is going to offend. People, it's too many people out here that offend daily online, and you don't go to none of these people and be like, you know what, you're offensive. You'll jump on the hate train with these people and be an offense and everything like that. And sometimes these people be speaking about y'all. You know what I'm saying? Those who get offended, right? So this is not at anybody, but this is just me speaking in general. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just talking about things that I've seen, right? So this is going to land where it fits. You know what I'm talking about? I really don't even have to explain all that. But it's just, you know what I'm saying? So look. Another thing, right? Is that one thing within the boundaries is that we also live in a time where people will mess around and they will push the goalpost for their boundaries, you know what I'm talking about, or they will even dismiss their boundaries because of the things that they want to dabble into of wickedness, right? An example is that, you know what I'm saying, for the sisters, it'll be, you know, this thing that they want a 6-foot man with 6 figures and, you know what I'm saying, 6 abs or whatever, right? And so now you will allow this person, or you will allow your boundaries to be brought down, you know what I'm saying, just because this person fits a certain type of ideology that you have for, you know what I'm saying, what you truly want, right? But this person is not a spiritual person at all. They don't have a relationship with the Father, you know what I'm saying? Salaki, they're not a good person. They don't love your family. They don't even want to be around, you know what I'm saying, your family, whatever. They end up calling you names that you really would not even want to be called and stuff like that. But it's because they're a roughneck or whatever, then you end up being like, you know what? Well, it's okay, because now you have this mentality that, well, maybe I can change him. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people have that type of mentality. Oh, well, they're rough around the edges. They're rough around the edges, but I can go ahead and, you know what I'm saying, carve that up and make it all smooth and everything like that, right? So then you release your boundaries and stuff like that, and then you end up getting hurt by these same type of people, you know what I'm saying? And then they mess around, and I'm not hating on nobody that's 6 foot or nothing. I'm just using this as an example, right? So you mess around, you know what I'm talking about, and well, when things mess up in that type of relationship, then you'll say that, and you dabble with these type of people continuously, then you'll say all men are bad, right? But it'll be your choice, your selection, because you didn't keep to your boundaries. You ended up trying to keep this person via, you know what I'm saying, sacred energy exchange, you know what I'm talking about, via like sex or whatever, sexual, you know what I'm saying, connotations and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, to try to invoke love into the situation and scenario. But you did it the wrong way. Because now that you had given him the cart before the horse, then he's not necessarily going to stay. Because he already done, you know what I'm saying, put his hooks into you. So now all that toxic stuff that he wants to do or whatever, this is why he's not falling in line, and this is why you end up being heartbroken and stuff like this. But you already knew this about those type of dudes. You see? But then you will allow a lot of these type of dudes, and not all of them are 6 feet. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Because there's short dudes and, you know, there's all kind of dudes, you know what I'm saying, that mess around and will follow in. But it's just the ideology that you have that you will allow these people to do certain things. It goes into the same thing of, you know what I'm saying, what's the difference between a rich person and, you know what I'm saying, a drug addict? You know what I'm talking about? And the only thing is just the money. You can have a person that you can have a person that snort crack, you know what I'm saying, and smoke crack and snort crack or whatever, you know what I'm talking about. And then you can have a rich person that end up, you know what I'm saying, snorting crack and smoking crack or whatever. But when the rich person is doing it, you're like, oh, well, they're established, and so therefore, no, it's a drug addict. And then you got somebody that's a drug addict, but because they don't have a big bag and they're doing it, it's the same thing. It'll be just like a person that is rich or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and they treat people like trash. Oh, well, that's how you act when you have money. But then you have a person that don't have nothing and treat people like trash. Oh, well, you're a horrible person. You see that? It's a double negative. You know what I'm saying? It's a double standard, my bad. It's a double standard. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. It's a double standard. And that's what's crazy to me, is that you will allow certain boundaries to be dismissed only for you to fit this ideology, but also avoid the warning flags. You know what I'm saying? Just because this dude has this type of stuff and looks this type of way, oh, well, you know what I'm saying? Here, you could drive my car. And then he don't have no type of form of respect for people's stuff and everything like that, and end up wrecking your car or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then it's like, what? Oh, well, it's because he's still attractive, you know what I'm saying? He's still fine and he's still cute or whatever, so therefore, and you know, he can making excuses. But there's no respect there. Because he does not respect you, how much more further do you think that he will even go with you if he does not respect you fully? Beloved? Now, it's the same thing with the brothers. There'll be brothers that'll mess around, oh, because, you know what I'm saying, her body fine, and, you know what I'm saying, her body nice, and then her bag nice, you know what I'm saying, talking about her money and stuff. Oh, she got a nice bag, and then she got a nice body, and she got a nice face, and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, and she's like, she mad disrespectful, you know what I'm talking about? She crazy cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you know what I'm saying? But then you just tolerate it and allow it just so you can go ahead and get to do what? To smash? And then she don't care about your family. She treat your kids like crap. She don't, or even if you don't have kids, you know what I'm saying? She does not respect your boundaries. You know what I'm talking about? She'll mess around and talk about you in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? Anytime something gets out of control, or any type of, you know what I'm saying, disagreement or whatever, you know what I'm saying, then she gonna jump online and try to expose you, tell your business and all this type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? If not making up lies about you and stuff, you know what I'm saying? It'd be weird. It'd be really weird. But then, you know, because you allowed yourself to release you know what I'm saying, release those boundaries for this person. And so therefore now you're stuck with the receipt of, so now you have this mindset that all women are trashy and all this type of stuff, when, you know what I'm saying, that's no farther from the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no closer to the truth, you know what I'm saying? Or no farther. Which one is it? I think it's no farther than the truth. It's not the truth, basically. You know what I'm saying? So you'll mess around and be like, all right, well, our women is, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, we live in a reality where there's a majority of, but there is also a minority of. And so the minority of certain things is rarity. Rarity is a very beautiful thing, because this means that it's not able to be found abroad in everybody. This is why I'm a lot different from a lot of my people. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the men and stuff like that, there's a lot of men that have some of the same attributes, don't get me wrong, but I stand out. I know enough that I know I'm rare. I know that if you deal with me, you're not going to find me anywhere else in anybody else, just like you're not going to find certain people in anybody else in any of us. So I know I'm rare. That's one thing, you know what I'm saying? I know my worth. Can't nobody tell me different. So because I know my worth and I know who I am and whose I am, you know what I'm saying, then I operate in that. So can't nobody downplay me or whatever, and I keep boundaries with that, because I know that not everybody deserves access with me, because I'm very much selective. I'm not finna just give out all the game and all my life and stuff like that, because it's not really called game for me. It's really life, you know what I'm saying? It's my story, you know what I'm saying? I don't have game. I just have a story that I tell, which is my story, my life story, my reality. And this is what a lot of people feel, you know what I'm saying? But people tend to consider it game, whatever, because they can apply it in their life and it'll help them be able to win certain levels and stuff like that in their life. But some of these people will be the same people that will emulate and be like, oh, well, now this was all me and everything like that, and therefore, you know what I'm saying, this is, you know, it's crazy. They do it to y'all too, you know what I'm saying? So not to go on a little rant or tangent, but you know, it's one of those things that whenever people do not really walk in for real love, you know what I'm saying, with themselves, and have boundaries and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, then you will allow certain things to be able to happen to you. So this is another reason why I say that one of the things you have to practice is taking accountability, because love is accountable. That's another thing. Love is accountable. So if you're in a relationship or you're dealing with people and these people are not accountable, hey, I messed up here, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's my bad or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? There's no love from that person. People always want to be like, you can be in relationships and they always want to be like, well, I don't know if he or she love me or not or whatever. Is she accountable? Is he accountable? Because if she's accountable, you know what I'm saying, and she's able and willing to help fix the situation, and to be able to grow into what she needs to, you know what I'm saying, to be able to make sure that the foundation stays solid in your relationship, then you have you a good one, because she's accountable. Is he accountable? Whenever certain things that you get mad about, does he be like, hey, my bad, you know what I'm saying, I apologize, and how can I fix it? Does he have that type of mentality? Because if he does, then look, baby girl, he loves you. That's the thing, is if he's willing to try to fix a situation for you, you know what I'm saying, because he wants the relationship to flourish and he wants the foundation to be solid, then this means that he loves you. Get off of the ideology of what love is supposed to be in your mind, because there are things that people will broadcast in their head, you know what I'm saying, that is, well, if this person really loves me, you know what I'm talking about, then they would do this. But knowing that if the shoes was flipped and the roles was vice versa, you wouldn't even do that for that person. You know what I'm talking about? So you can't be in that type of mentality, you know what I'm talking about, of self-grandiose ideology to feel like that, oh, okay, well, this is really what love is, if you're not really operating it for real love. You know what I'm saying? Boundaries, respect, consequences, accountability, you know what I'm saying, all operate within love. If a person loves themselves, then they're going to have boundaries, you know what I'm saying. Now, aside from it just being me focusing on just a person, you know what I'm saying, person-to-person relationship, I said all that to say that now flip those things out and put you in the Most High in that scenario, and you see how that works. Now flip that. Put you in the Most High in that scenario and see how it works. As many times that you have got away with so much things, and you know what I'm saying, you have not been like, you know what, I want to be accountable for that. You just be like, hey, well, that's just the way the cards fall, so therefore it is whatever, you know what I'm saying. But then the Most High will put you in a relationship, in a situation, for you to be able to experience that, only for him to want you to see what it is like, you know what I'm saying, how he feels, because he wants you to go deeper inside yourself to realize what it truly is. But you won't do that. You will deny, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, this just happens that way and all this type of stuff. Or what do I need to be learning? What is you call it the universe? What is the universe teaching me? You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy thing. What is the universe teaching me in this time? You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, look, the Most High does things, you know what I'm saying, intentionally. There's a reason for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as coincidences. So it's like, if you are seeking a relationship and you like, why can't I ever get a relationship that I want? Maybe the Most High is saying the same thing to you. Well, why can't I get a relationship out of you? I got everything you need, but you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? I got everything you need, baby, but you ain't trying to get a relationship with me, baby. You know, the Most High like, hey, look, you know, why is nobody really pouring into me? Are you pouring into other people? The Most High wants you to be able to pour into other people, or also, you know what I'm saying, pour into him. You got children. Your children don't listen. Well, are you listening to the Most High? You see how that works? But then when it gets to that type of point, then everybody's like, well, I don't, no. Well, let me just look for the flaws. And the Bible is contradictory. And, you know what I'm saying, the Most High really don't love us like that and all this. And I've never built love for him and stuff like that. But you never had love in your heart for the next human being. You'll complain and whine and be so quick to talk down on the next individual without even understanding their story for real. You know what I'm saying? Without knowing where they come from, where they want to go and everything. You will look at their situation. You see that? You will look at everything on the outside and judge a person by that, which is called judging a book by its cover, which is also going against what the Most High says. Thou shalt not judge lest thee be judged. Well, see, it says right there you don't need to judge. No, it says that if you do judge, then you judge righteously. Judge by the inner parts of the person and judge by the spirit. But if you don't have the spirit, then how are you able to judge? You see, so this is not a contradiction, but people will say this is a contradiction because they are fake. And they want to try to make contradictions so they can make excuses for them to get out of something. They will make laws against the laws that the Most High has already set. So this is why they are lawless. They'll make laws against whatever. Well, the book says it's contradictory, so it's fake, and I don't believe it, and all this type of stuff. Okay, well, I don't see your Dead Sea Scrolls talking about these times. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that comes close to the time of the prophecies of right now would be the Hopi prophecies. The Hopi people, which are the Native American, not Native, indigenous Americans, you know what I'm saying? Which I've already spoke about those. I've also showed you, I've posted them here in the mystery school. Yeah, this is the mystery school page. I posted them here in the mystery school, you know what I'm saying, of the prophecies that's basically talking about the phoenix, you know what I'm talking about, but it's also talking about that there's an individual, you know what I'm saying, which is a warrior. I'll repost it. I'll do that. I'll repost it because I post and people they have short-term memories, but we have to give credit to social media and video games and, you know what I'm saying, for that, because people's attention span right now in these times is very, very short. This is why they have short ads and stuff like that, and so they have the skip button within like 5 seconds so you can hurry up and skip it. So people have developed that in their mind frame. It's okay, if you're not saying nothing, I can't really just get the meat off of what you're saying right then I am skipping, I'm going to go to the next thing. So it's the same people that have that mentality that'll be in relationships and stuff like that, but want a longevity relationship, you know what I'm talking about, will want longevity success and stuff like this, you know what I'm saying, but won't even spend the longevity time in order for them to be able to attain it, you know what I'm saying. They'll just be like, oh, I want it quickly. Everybody wants it quickly. You know what I'm saying? But this is why you're getting microwave relationships. This is why you're getting microwave abs. This is why you're getting microwave faith. You see? So, let me see here. Yeah, I kind of already spoke on that. Was saying that many look for trouble and try to change them, and then blame the trouble and not blame their discernment. So they'll blame the situation that they had fell into, you know what I'm saying, instead of blaming their discernment, knowing that everybody has discernment. There's nobody here that can tell me, you know what I'm saying. Now, there are people that have been manipulated, don't get me wrong, but we've all had some type of form of a gut feeling that's like, well, but then we've talked ourselves into something, or something to be like, well, we should probably do this, but we talked ourselves out of something, so vice versa. But regardless, we have not used the discernment, you know what I'm saying, to talk ourselves out of the trouble, or, you know what I'm saying, to not talk ourselves into the trouble, right? So there have been times that people will end up being like, okay, well, you know what I'm saying, I look for the trouble because with the trauma is, you know what I'm saying, the victims turn into those things which victimize them, right? So you can be a victim of violence, you know what I'm saying, street violence or whatever. And so eventually you become tough and stuff like that, and you start to be like, okay, well, it's either eat or get eaten. You know what I'm talking about? Eat or get eaten or whatever. So it's like, well, I have now developed the mentality of where I have to eat instead of getting eaten. So, you know what I'm saying? It's that type of thing when you don't have to even do that. The thing about it is you can easily just walk away. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? But they don't teach us that. But that's because the enemy has created this trauma within ourselves, so we've turned into that. There have been people who have grown up in narcissistic households where you know what I'm saying, a parent will pit, you know what I'm saying, one of the siblings against the other, you know what I'm saying, because they try to play favorites or whatever, you know what I'm saying. So then one of the siblings has low self-esteem and all this type of stuff, or they change the way that they treat one of them compared to the way they treat another one, you know what I'm saying. And then whenever that one that they treated differently or indifferently, you know what I'm saying, then they mess around and speak their mind, or, you know what I'm saying, try to grow into a certain type of thing, but then it's like they get shunned for that. You know what I'm saying? So now this parent grows up, now this child grows up into a parent, and so they do the same thing within their household. You know what I'm saying? They end up doing the same thing on their children, or a parent, if it's a single parent, a single child, single parent, or multiple parents or whatever, and they yell at the child or whatever, then this is what the child is used to, all that ruckus and huckabuck, you know what I'm saying? So then whenever they get older and they have children and stuff like that, that's what they're used to, you know what I'm saying, is all that ruckus and huckabuck. So they're yelling at their children and everything like that, right? But it's the desire that's within them that is to be able to change. So this is another reason why we have to realize that we are not a product of the situations and the scenarios which had victimized us. We are victors. We are victorious. And so within that being said, then we have to keep in mind that we are overcomers. So this will take us away from that victimized mindset. This kind of goes into the message I did yesterday, not the second one, but the first one, which talks about, you know what I'm saying, how to be able to overcome things. Because you've been trained in a process. So therefore, you can either let it make you better, or you can make it, you can allow it to make you bitter. So because you don't allow it to make you bitter, you know what I'm saying, then you make it better, and then you are operating in your form of godliness. Because now you are creating a positive change. This is like people who don't have certain parents and they grow up and they end up being that parent that they needed, or people who didn't have certain influence, you know what I'm saying, an inspiration, so they end up growing up to be that inspiration, you know what I'm saying, of what they needed. You know what I'm talking about? And so whenever you understand this, then this is what separates, you know what I'm saying, the wheat versus the tares. Right? So this is one of those type of things. And so you end up becoming more, what's the word? You become more, I guess, indestructible, you know what I'm saying, against those things that set out to destroy you, right? And so those things that set out to destroy you, you become more indestructible with those things. So therefore, it doesn't have any effect on you. So then it's like, well, you start taking it with a grain of salt, so then it makes it look that much more easier. Whenever you overcome these situations, whenever people throw fiery darts at you, or the enemy, or they allow the enemy to use them, Salakia, to be able to throw fiery darts at you. You see? And so that's one of those things, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot more deeper than rap. But this is one of those things, right? Because it's so much that I can speak on from experience in a testimony of my life that I can give y'all, you know what I'm saying? But so many people, there's people that are out here that because they are, and I guess in a higher plateau, you know what I'm saying, in their mind, because they have higher platform or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and they look at people like you and I to be able to take and emulate who we are. And the thing about it is, those things that they emulate who we are, there's only so much of us that they can put on and realize it don't fit. They'll be like me, you know what I'm saying, if I put this shirt on, you know what I'm talking about, and this shirt is an extra small, it's not gonna fit. This shirt gonna be like this on me. You see what I'm saying? But I'll be like, yeah, it's a nice fit. That's how they look whenever they put you on. When they put on you, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to be able to emulate. The thing about it is the Most High is so creative, you know what I'm saying? People will elude the fact of, they'll be like, okay, well, we're guys, but don't want to know, you know what I'm saying? Or I seen somebody, well, let me say it like this. There's a person that was like, well, if my parents are human, then that means that I'm a human, right? If a cat, you know what I'm saying, has kittens, then that means it's a cat, you know what I'm saying? If a cat is in the lion family, in the feline family, or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and the lion is in the feline family, then this means that, you know what I'm saying, they have that attribute, you know what I'm saying, just on a minuscule scale, right? So this is the same thing as basically, you know what I'm saying, being gods. right? And so what I'm saying is this, is that when people just acknowledge just the universe is not the creator. The universe is the creation, right? So because the universe is the creation, then people will rather cooperate with the creation and not the creator. So whenever I see these same people be like, well, I'm a God and all this type of stuff, but I don't believe in God. Okay, well, guess what? I don't believe you're a God. You are the creation. You know what I'm saying? You are not. It doesn't make sense, because that's contradictory. That's fakeness and contradictory. These will be the same people that'll be like, well, we're gods and I just believe in the universe. But then what's crazy is that people like ourselves, you know what I'm saying, that really do walk the walk, whenever their life falls apart, they come to us, right? I'm not talking about those who are getting their life in order. I'm talking about those who will poke fun at us and be like, oh, well, you not, you know what I'm saying? Those will be the same people that will watch us from afar, you know what I'm saying, and not really be able to help them maneuver through their relationships, because they have never won the war to be able to celebrate a victory with the gods that they serve. There's too many of them that be in relationships and stuff like that. They be messed up about stuff, you know what I'm saying? They don't change. They don't take acceptance or accountability, you know what I'm saying, of who they are and the things that they've done or the things that other people have done, you know what I'm saying, in their situations, and then be like, okay, well, now everybody's bad or whatever, and they don't have anything that falls underneath, so therefore they are lawless, you know what I'm saying? They are godless. They don't have no covering over them. But then the people that's like us, that mess around and that will operate in love and kindness and, you know what I'm saying, have a mentality of peace and ingenuity, you know what I'm saying, and authenticity, you know what I'm saying, and for real have compassion and stuff like that, and consideration, you know what I'm saying, and comprehension, most definitely comprehension, you know what I'm saying, they will make fun and try to put us on as like it's them, only for them to have to continuously come back to the blueprints of you and I. This is whenever you should know that you have your power. And it's not saying that you have the power to manipulate. No, your power is your light of who you are, because the Most High is shining through you. If you did not operate in that form of godliness, then you will not have your authority. You will not be walking in your authority. You'll be walking around blind just like the rest of them. Blind mice. You be the third blind mice to the other two. You know what I'm saying? So just consider that. Keep that in mind as well. You know, it's a walk. It's not supposed to be a run. If it was a run, then, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people would have already crossed the finish line. But not too many people is crossing the finish line, because we all have to walk it out at our own pace. Don't look at somebody else's situation in life and then try to hurry up and jump into. Don't be in a high chair, you know what I'm saying, then trying to jump at the big table. Just continuously, you know what I'm saying, wean yourself, learn and wean yourself off of that high chair table, you know what I'm talking about, until you're able to really be able to walk and then sit upright at the big table. Don't be covetous, you know what I'm saying, of the things that other people have. I'm not a person that I see people with more than me or whatever and then get mad and, oh, I wish I don't never do that, because I don't know what it took for them to do that. You know what I'm saying? Some of them might have to do some things I would never have done to do that. You know what I'm saying? On the negative aspect. You see how many stars is falling from the sky? These celebrities, right? Which is a revelation. You see how many of these stars is falling from the sky? Because they had to do all kind of extra stuff, you know what I'm saying? Real diddly in order for them, you know what I'm saying, to be able to attain certain things. When you were doing it with integrity and you were doing it naturally, and you know what I'm saying, you were doing it with love, it's going to take a little bit longer to get to that finish line, or to get to that destination. But when you get to that destination, you know what I'm saying, those people that look at you as competition is going to hate, because they didn't have the gall, they didn't have the strength They didn't have the hunger and the desire, you know what I'm saying, to be able to make it to where you made it to with a purity of yourself. You know what I'm saying? Within righteousness, within not having to step on somebody just to go ahead and get up top, without having to X somebody out, or without having to do other things that you would have never did that would have went against your morals just for you to get into that position. You see that? This is another reason why they hate us. But they adore us. It's because they're like, dang. But they are contradictories of fakeness. Once they operate in who they truly are, then everything else will start to flow. You know what I'm saying? But these people are so used to taking their pain out on everybody else, you know what I'm saying, and making excuses instead of being like, you know what, I messed up, I tripped out, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, they won't go that far. This is why I wrote what it says right here, is that many will emulate and steal and never contribute. Their time will be cut short. It happens, trust me. And that's another thing too, is that whenever you are operating, you know what I'm saying, in the Most High, right? When you're putting your faith, when you're operating the faith and allowing yourself to have intimate time with the Most High, and especially intimate time within your walk, seriously, then you have to keep in mind that some things are not going to be on your time. They're going to be on the time of the Most High. It's too many times where, well, let me use this as an example, right? So, John is the one who had given the book of Revelation, right? John was back then. Revelation is a prophecy. So, because the prophecy is now, years way past when John, you know what I'm saying, is to exist, right? To be in existence, my bad. Then, obviously, he did not get to see the prophecy fulfilled, but the prophecy is being fulfilled. You see that? So I say that to say this, is that there are times that because you want something, or you know that there's something that's supposed to be a promise to you, it might not be in the time that you want it to be, but it will still be fulfilled. You know what I'm saying? It will still be given. If he gave you a promise, the Most High give you a promise, and then be quiet. He'll be like, okay, well, this is what it is, you know what I'm saying, and then I'll be quiet about it. He did that with Abraham. He was like, yeah, you finna have a seed and a child or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, you're gonna birth a nation. And he like, okay. And time passed, and he like, well, the Most High quiet until it was that time, and then he was like, okay, boom. But see, because if you do not, if you try to end up overstepping and trying to step into your own thing, then you mess the situation up. This is why, you know what I'm saying, Ishmael had came about, you know what I'm saying, because Ishmael was not supposed to be the one that the Most High wanted to use. He was like, no, I didn't say it. I said with Sarah. I didn't say with Hagar. You know what I'm saying? But Sarah didn't even believe it. But I told you. But because you didn't believe it, you allowed her to go ahead and get you to, and you thinking that this is because you took it on yourself. Now, I'm going to end up blessing them, but that's not going to be the one that I bless as to be the nation. You know what I'm saying? Because the covenant that I'm making with you will be through Abraham, which is you, through Isaac and Jacob. It's not going to be through Abraham and Ishmael and Jacob or Isaac or whatever. It's not going to be. It's not what he said was supposed to be his plan. He already had a plan. He wrote it out. So keep in mind, you know what I'm saying, that you are right where you need to be. Yeah, impatience comes and stuff like that. Anxiety starts to heighten and intensify at certain times, but that's whenever you go into your prayer closet and you give praise. When you be like, you know what, Lord, you got this. Because it says, cast our burdens upon the Lord. He will never suffer. He will sustain thee. He will never suffer the righteous to be moved. Also, it says, you know what I'm saying, to come all to me, come to me, all ye who are heavy laden, who are heavy burdened and heavy laden. You know what I'm saying, and take my yoke. You know what I'm saying, because my yoke is light. To be yoked down to something means that it has some type of weight. You know what I'm saying, because he already conquered. You know what I'm talking about? He conquered the life, he conquered the grave, death, and hell. You know what I'm talking about? So he got 3 keys to hell, you know what I'm saying? And it already conquered the life. So there's 4 keys right there. So his yoke is going to be light. But whenever we operate in the ways of who he is in us, then this is what makes it look so easy, because we're truly walking the walk. So the ministry is going to be the ministry. This is why the testimony is so strong, because we've applied the things that he's already spoken us to do. So therefore, it's going to look easy to those who don't really want to pick it up, who are only in survival mode and not in warrior mode. You see that? So just be encouraged. You know what I'm talking about? Be encouraged and be very weary of these people that are contradictions of fakeness. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of them that's fake. And you'll see who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to talk all this other stuff, and you know what I'm saying, they trying to lead you other places, and you know, places that don't give you no insight of your life for real. They just have you still looking everywhere else except for in here. Then be very wary of those people, because too many people are looking to configure out in here, but because they have not configured out in here, they end up being like, you know what, well, let me keep looking on the outside, because if I look on the outside and I give all my power to other things, you know what I'm saying, the sorcery and all this extra stuff, then this is who I am, and it's not them, because it's just a thing that is empowering them, but that doesn't give them power. Because those things end up taking their power back once those things fail, or once somebody else is doing them and they do it better than these people. Oh, well, I'm a master starologist, you know what I'm saying? Which is astrology, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm a master at astrology, and I know about all the houses and all this type of stuff, and then somebody else comes with more knowledge and stuff like that. Then people is finna go to that other person, right? And so now this person's like, well, dang, now I have to think about the next edge that I got to do and all this type of stuff for me to try to be in there constantly seeking knowledge, but not able to come into, you know what I'm saying, knowledge of the truth. Whenever you come into the knowledge of the truth, all that extra stuff you don't even have to worry about. Oh yeah, you got that, you cool. Oh, you know about all the houses and stuff like that and astrology, and yo, you cool. You know about this and all this type of stuff, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? The Most High is teaching me a lot of different things. So those same people end up looking and being like, oh, well, you know this and stuff like this. And so therefore, how can I learn from you? But I don't want to tell you that I want to learn from you and all this, because the Holy Spirit teaches you. The Holy Spirit will teach you a lot more than what these demons that dwell inside of man, you know what I'm saying, or even amongst man, can ever be able to give you. This is why a lot of people see me, act like they don't see me, you know what I'm saying, and be like, dang. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people who the Holy Spirit dwells within, and they have great insight, and people gravitate to those people. But you need to know this too before I leave, is that many people will mess around and have you to they will have you put something down that you already have an inkling into. They'll have you to put it down. They'll down talk you and make you feel like that it's inadequate, or make you feel like that you inadequate, only for you to put it down and walk away from it, only for them to wait till you walk away and pick it up and take it and run off with it. So you bet not put you down for nobody. Don't do that, because these people are fake. They're false prophets. They're Pharisees. They're, you know what I'm saying, heretics. They're whoremongers. All these people is what a lot of these people are, and they don't have no clue. These people are willingly wanting to do this. They're willingly wanting to be that, because they're so worried about self-gratification, you know what I'm saying, how they can manipulate somebody else and torment somebody else, you know what I'm saying, unbeknownst, via their own knowledge, how to manipulate and overcome, and, you know what I'm saying, step on top of somebody instead of just walking together. So don't allow yourself to play yourself for these people. Don't let them play you. Whenever they try to play a game, you know what I'm saying, the game is it's all fun and games until you put it on 2-player. Once you put it on 2-player, then they be like, oh, they sit back. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Hey, man, so just stay prayed up. Know that I'm proud of y'all, you know what I'm saying. I hope that there's a lot of keys in here that y'all have, that you can be, that you are given, that you can utilize, you know what I'm saying, to help with your growth. I'm proud of a lot of y'all, you know what I'm saying, most definitely. I see y'all just continue to walk in the faith. Continue to have intimacy with the Most High, you know what I'm saying. Continue to grow and do better. As surely as you walking, you know what I'm saying, today in Yah's will, you awaken tomorrow, you will also have another chance to be able to get it right and do more than what you did today, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying, Yah willing. Just like you did more today than what you did yesterday. You know what I'm talking about? Some of the works that we do is not always seen in the physical. It's not always seen out here. You see that? It's more seen by the Father, and that's what really matters. But people who have done the work already kind of know what it looks like, so that's why I'm saying I'm proud of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have went from where y'all used to be. You are not who you was yesterday, nor will you be who you are tomorrow, who you are today. So stay encouraged. The Most High loves you. The Lord loves you. You know what I'm saying? And I love you for real. You know, people will be like, oh, you don't really love people or whatever. Nobody's really actually talking. Well, I mean, not saying, I can't say nobody. There's a lot of people, a few people. Let me say that. Let me stop lying. There's a few people, you know what I'm saying, that mess around and they'll reach out and stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? And I'll give them my time. Hey, okay, cool. Where I need to help at. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of people that, because they don't really want to take the initiative, or they feel like that, oh, well, because, so I don't feel, or I think that, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff that they have in their head, that, oh, well, you don't really love. Well, no, it's because you don't really love. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem with helping people out in their situations. If I'm able to help a person out in their situation, I most definitely will. I'm the type of person that my thing is to serve. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this for likes. I don't do this for a lot of views or nothing like that. I can make videos back to back to back, and they only get a certain amount of play, and just because I'm doing it, as long as somebody is getting, you know what I'm saying, I take my time out to be able to look and be like, okay, well, how can I help better somebody else's day? This is acts of service. You know what I'm saying? How can I encourage and help somebody else to be inspired, you know what I'm saying, by the Spirit? Because that's what it is whenever you're walking, you know what I'm saying, in the ways of Christ HaMashiach. You see? So whenever you are walking in the walk, in the faith, you know what I'm saying, then your walk is a ministry. It's going to minister to people instead of you just doing this all day. So with that, I bid adieu. You know what I'm saying? Much love. Lalata Vata. You know what I'm saying? Which is good night to you. Right? And Shalom Shalom. You know what I'm saying? And Kitov Shabbat. You know what I'm saying? The good life. The Sabbath. Shalom.